listen, I can't say too highly how good you are at water skiing. We're going to have a look at that video in a little while. I mean, that could only be the result of an incredibly healthy upbringing, or perhaps just a highly privileged upbringing. I mean, I've never even tried water skiing because I can't afford it.
Well, mate, it's down to the mythos and the cigarettes. I've got to say, that form is not that good. I used to be better.
Really?
Look, I'm an old man now.
Listen,
and,
you can't come on this radio station and call yourself an old man when I'm on it, because I'm afraid to say rather a lot older than you are, I suspect. But you're looking good on it anyway.
Thanks, mate. That's very kind of you.
Now, we've spoken a few times recently about this movie that's coming up. We've got a little trailer, I think, that we can show everybody that we picked up on your Twitter account. Can we see that? Let's have a look.
Yeah.
The boy.
Very good. I like that. I like that a lot. Is it finished, or are you still working on it?
No, it's finished, and that's the teaser trailer. The longer trailer, I think, comes out next week before it's released, and the longer trailer is even better. It's, it's kind of a parallel culture, isn't it, that's starting to develop in life between the sort of mainstream woke movies with multiracial Anne Boleyns, and then stories about stuff that people are interested in, like the Biden film. It's actually weirdly not a political film. It's a film about a guy who's just trying to impress his dad, really, and it's a kind of gangster comedy.
Yes.
But unfortunately, the subject matter is so serious that you either laugh or cry at it. Because the Biden family do this great impression of being like, good old Joe Biden from Scranton, normal guy from Ohio, but somehow he's managed to accumulate an incredible amount of wealth, and so has his son. And this film covers how that took place, and it's jaw-dropping actually in a lot of ways.
It is amazing because he is, as you say, a fascinating character, Hunter Biden, because we've all seen, the stories about the hookers and the cocaine and the laptop and what was on it, and some of it appears to be so bizarre that it couldn't be true, and yet what probably is. And as you say, I mean, Donald Trump used to go on about this, that the swamp is full of people who basically say that they've been making $200,000 a year for a long time, but they somehow have hundreds of millions of dollars at their disposal, and it doesn't really make any sense.
Well, as far as as you know, I am political. So as well as trying to, I'm basically an artist, but I'm also now political. It's astonishing that Joe Biden has sold America to the Chinese in the way that he has done, and via his son, and this film covers all of that. And I think when people see it, they will go, "Oh wow!"
And how did you find filming it? Because you've been out of the business for a while, haven't you? You were filming, I think, in Eastern Europe, and you've been running for mayor of London and that kind of thing, building up a political party. So did it feel good to be back doing something like that?
Well, it's really sad, and it's such a sad testament of the times that we live in, because essentially I spent 3 years at one of the best drama schools you can go to. I spent 22 years working non-stop as an actor. I said England wasn't a racist country. I was then removed from my career. I was banned from acting by the woke lot, which is fine. They can do that if they want to, and they can make films for each other. And like, as you just said on the thing, Cineworld is about to close. People are not interested in this stuff. So it's bittersweet, because I know that it's only sabbatical. I know that no one's going to go, "Oh, Loz, we'd have you back." And it's a sad reflection of what show business should be, because show business should be about challenging culture. It shouldn't be about applauding it, especially what we've got at the moment, which is just woke culture. Which the irony is, any of my actor mates who I love and they contact me privately go on about, "Oh mate, I really feel for you." I'm like, "Don't worry, your job's next."
Yeah,
you'll.
But this is a bit they don't get, isn't it? I mean, it's like I've got people that you would know if I told you their names, who say to me, "Look, I love listening to your show. I love watching it. I can't tell my friends because, they ostracise me." I'm like, what? Why? It's like I'm not exactly, running to Hitler Youth here, but that's how they see it, And I've run into more and more people over time who go, oh, Mike Graham's going to be doing this with me. And then they kind of shiver in horror. And then actually they realise, actually, I'm not the devil. I don't have, 7 fingers and I don't have horns coming out of my head. I just happen to think some things that you don't think. That's okay. And you're right. I mean, they will be next because, the wokeists now are the establishment. That's the problem. So if you want to be a rebel now, you just have to go against that.
Yeah, 100%. I think the most important thing is that we continue to dissent against this stuff. We've got every single foundational institution in our country infected by this. We've got the NHS spending millions of taxpayers' money on woke stuff. You've got police who can't be bothered to go and solve burglaries, learning the Macarena. You've got, at the end of the day, we're being laughed at. The ordinary people of this country are being laughed at. And then this sort of, actually, the minute you dissent from it, you're called a racist. But the only racism that I can see which is systemic in this country is against white people. And that's and I hate to point it out in that way, and I hate even referring to skin colour and immutable characteristics. So I think it's just dreadful, and you should judge someone on the content of their character, not the colour of their skin. But we're living in a country now where the only form of acceptable racism is against white people. We're living in a country where the only form of acceptable criticism is against British culture, and British writers and heritage. We're having our universities decolonise their curriculum from great writers. Our children are being indoctrinated in school that they can become boys or girls if they want to, and this is the work of a very evil movement. And even Trump himself has said, because he's noticing what's happening with the FBI, which have basically been used to keep the Democrats in power in America. Even Trump, the man who can't keep his mouth shut over anything, has said everyone needs to calm down, because America is on the verge and Britain is not far behind,
No, America is very, very much in a bad place. I think as bad as it's ever been. I lived in America in the 80s when it was a great place to live. I went there from London and suddenly discovered this amazing country with so much opportunity where anyone could do anything. And, the guy next to you driving a Rolls Royce could have come to the US from Mexico and made his fortune, and nobody cared. Now it's all riven by ridiculous personality cult politics, and it's nonsense. Have you had any feedback from the Biden administration or from anyone over there?
They sent a spy onto our set when we were filming.
Obviously not a very good one.
Hunter Biden's lawyers actually sent a spy, and then because a lot of it was night shoots, I did a night shoot, and then they asked to interview me, and they said they were the team from South Park who wanted to mock it, wanted to join us in mocking it, but it was actually Hunter Biden's lawyer, and they convinced pretty much all of us to sit down and do long form interviews. So bearing in mind that I finished work at 4 a.m, it'd be interesting to see. I can't even remember what I said.
Well, it's probably got them busy working away, digging around. And when does it actually come out? When is it available to watch? I think it's
September the 11th.
Okay.
I think I can never remember. I've also sort of tried to turn my phone off on holiday, but I think the main trailer comes out next. Either towards the end of this week. I don't even know what day it is. If I'm honest, Mike. Sorry, I'm on holiday.
That's a proper holiday. That's a proper holiday. It's as it should be. I'm sorry to have had to disturb you on it.
No, not at all. So I think if it's early September. It's obviously timed for the midterms, and I think that the revelations that are coming out about this family, this essentially, what happens, again, this point about political elites, right? If we talk about slavery and stuff like that, and everyone goes on about, it's slavery and you're responsible for slavery. It was those political elites that could afford slaves, not the rest of us.
Right.
So your average human being, your average person in Britain and America is being told that they are in some way responsible and guilty for crime committed by not their ancestors, but the ancestors of the elites that live today. And we should remember, and the working people of Britain should remember, I know it's pretty rich coming from me, sat on a Greek island, but the working people of Britain should remember they made this country, not the elites.
Yes. I'm going to read out a text from somebody called Robin here, because everything is not all lost, Robin. He says, Mike, I like Laurence Fox, but it's interesting when I say the same in texts I send you, they are never read out. So there you go. They've broken that taboo. I must admit,
discrimination, mate.
I must admit, well, it is. I mean, obviously, whenever I see any text that mentions you, Laurence, I never read it out because that would be wrong. What about Hunter Biden himself? Do you think he's a character that you can have some sympathy with? Is he kind of lost in whatever it is he's lost in?
Well, your job as an actor is not to judge the character you play. Your job as an actor is to represent truthfully the human being written on the page.
Yeah.
So he came across to me. I'm not judging him. I have my personal, private, political views about him. But when playing him, I just went, I had to smoke fake crack and snort fake cocaine for 4.5 weeks. And I tell you what, having previously I never did crack, but I did a load of coke when I was younger, I would have preferred to have done the real thing because my lung absolutely clogged up with whatever this stuff is that they use for fake cocaine. And then I lost a stone in weight from smoking whatever the fake crack is.
Blimey.
So, and my voice is actually only just coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, don't try this at home, I think would be the message. Now, what can you tell us about, we've only got about half a minute left. I mean, we're going to have a new Prime Minister in it soon, by the time you're back, possibly. Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak. I mean, it's not much of a choice, really, is it?
No, I've given up on my interest in what the Unit Party is. I think it's becoming painfully obvious to people that it's two cheeks in the same arse. I think that we should adopt the American system where anybody can stand for leadership of the Conservative Party. I think it's amazing that Kenny Badenoch did so well. I think this Prime Minister will last for 2 years, and I think when the Lib Lab coalition kicks in come next general election, I think we may be heading well down the path of where America is going.
Yeah.
So we need a proper Conservative like Kenny Badenoch.
Yeah, I think a lot of people listening to this will agree with you. Laurence, have a great holiday. Thank you so much for talking to us, and we'll look forward to the release.